So faith deconstruction also includes reevaluating your relationship with idea about spiritual leadership, about clergy, about pastors. So let's talk about it. My name is Reverend Evelyn. I am an ordained minister of spiritual consciousness, and I am out here. I took a walk this afternoon and decided to shoot a video. Typically I'm shooting them in the backyard, but I am out here under these beautiful trees and thought this is a beautiful spot. So anyway, this week I heard the news that Philip Yancey, who is a Christian author, minister, professor, and married man of several decades, confessed to having an 8-year-long affair with a married woman. Now, he's an evangelical minister, which is what I call hardcore Christian. Evangelicals are hardcore. And but Philip Yancey is someone who he has written some books that have affected a lot of people's lives for the good. I mean, he's published around 15 million books and that have been translated into 40 languages. He's a big deal in Christian and evangelical circles. And this news has come as a blow to a lot of people. I can't say that I'm disappointed because I wasn't holding him up as any paragon of virtue. But what it did show me, I read an article this morning. It was written by one of his colleagues who, I won't say who it is because I can't remember his name, but he was a high-ranking evangelical church official, let's just say that. And he talked about sin, and he talked about grace. He talked about the fact that that Yancey came forward, that he confessed to his 8-year-long affair with a married woman, he being a married man, married to someone else. And he said that he was going to be withdrawing from ministry because he was no longer qualified. But he hasn't been qualified, air quotes, for the past 8 years, since he's been having this affair with this other person, not his wife. So for these past 8 years, he has been masquerading as a, air quotes, Christian minister, teacher, professor, whatever. So I guess what I wanted to talk about was, and this is a personal on my part. I mean, I read one of his books in the early 2000s. I was really going through it. And I believe now in hindsight that was sort of the beginning glimmers of my deconstruction. And at the time I thought, well, there's no way I can stop going to church. Like, there's no way. Like, what would I do? I felt like even thinking about not going to church anymore and no longer being a Christian was kind of like taking a step off of a 10-story building. It was like, don't be ridiculous. I would say to myself. Somebody recommended Philip Yancey's book, Disappointment with God, because I talked to somebody about what I was going through, and they said that they would pray for me, and there are things falling from this tree on me. Anyway, so I read his book, Disappointment with God, and it really inspired me to not give up on my Christian faith at the time. And it's really the only book of his that I've read. I have been aware of him being a very prolific Christian author, but that's really the only book of his that I read. And at the time, it did the trick. It did exactly what it needed to do, and it helped to really bolster and inspire my faith. Which is the only reason I'm speaking about this, because I had a similar sort of a womp womp feeling a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, when I heard that Deepak Chopra was in the Epstein files. And he's someone, I think I own, I don't know how many of his books. I was a Deepak Chopra fan. And I think that the disappointment, I actually had disappointment when I heard about Chopra, more so than when I heard about Yancey, because I was much more, I had consumed much more of Chopra's work and really bought the idea, right, that he was something that he clearly wasn't. And so I have to think about myself as a minister, and I don't ever hold myself out to be any sort of paragon of anything. I am the most human you're ever going to meet. I don't profess to be above anyone. Oh, so what I love about Arizona is the hummingbirds. There are hummingbirds like flies. Hummingbirds are like flies around here. And there's a hummingbird just hovering right in my line of sight. They're so cute. Anyway, sorry. I'm a garden fairy. Anyway, so yeah, I just really had foolishly, right, and mistakenly held out this idea that Chopra was some kind of a mystical whatever. And he was just a dude. He was an excellent writer. He was a prolific writer. I think he had more than 100 books published. A lot of people admire his work. And also, just the other day, I also used to be a big Mooji fan. Mooji is a Jamaican mystical teacher. He has an ashram in India, and he's had a lot of beautiful, wise things to say, and I followed his work. But somebody told me the other day that he was involved in a sex scandal in his ashram. So I'm just like, I said before in earlier videos, everything is made up. And everybody, we are all human beings just trying to get our needs met and be human. And part of my process of deconstructing my Christian faith is deconstructing this idea of holding clergy up on a pedestal, thinking that they have some sort of special line to God, that they are above reproach and all that. Clergy, I'm a member of the clergy. I am just a human being trying to live my life. And I don't pretend to be anything that I am not. And so as I sort of, I guess, grow up and face the fact that I can't, it's sort of me not taking responsibility for my own spiritual growth when I feel like I have to look up to other spiritual teachers and think, oh, I'd like to be like that someday. And just really go within myself and recognize that, all of my authority comes from within me and not from outside of myself, not from my proximity to other, to spiritual teachers and gurus and all that. So yeah, I just that's been sort of ruminating in my brain, and I thought I would share that one of my spiritual teachers told me that when you become a minister, you agree to do your healing in public. And so this is me doing my healing in public. This is me saying, another person, another member of clergy, another spiritual leader, has shown themselves to be merely human, and it reminds me that that's all we are. So if you are interested in faith deconstruction, spiritual development, spiritual growth, if you are on the path to spiritual liberation, I invite you to check out my Substack, Sacred Creative Soul Speaks. And yeah, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.